Holy shit. I got one butt cheek. I got one butt cheek and it's holding my pants up. That's right. A little half-assed today on this Sunday. Sunday. You will pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. That's right. Welcome back. It's time for Comics Talk with Reverend Sully. That's right. Your very own comic book shop style conversation in the privacy of your own iPhone or home. I need a beer. It's a wet show. All right. Letting you know that right now. It's a wet show. Hide that shit. Oh boy, good to see everyone. How are you? It's time for our Sunday show, our Sunday magazine show, our Sunday new release review show. And how many comic books do we have to review this week? We will count them. There will be a counting, and I've got, no lie, 2 bags of funny books bought from 2 local comic book shops this week. I had to go back, and it's a story on its own. We'll get to it at the end of the show, as we usually show the what we bought at the end of the show. We'll go through the digital copies that I got in my pirate chest this week. Hey, good to see you, James. Oh my goodness, Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. Yule, you are literally my number 3 local comic book shop. I hope that makes you happy, especially because we have this whole continent of North America that separates us from your bay to my harbor. And, the United States Postal Service unites us. And yes, I'm going to tell you all about it, because I went to 2 comic book shops. Actually, I order from you more than I go to my secondary. I will let you know that pretty much. At least number 3 is not a bathroom code you can get confused with. And oh gosh, I went to the pub for a very wet lunch. 3 pints of Guinness. A pint of Guinness is on special this month at my local public house. It's $5 a pint of Guinness. I got tomorrow off, so I'm gonna lit it up just a little bit. Friday night, I was on Wakazashi Gray's show, and I drank like a 6-pack of Miller Lite cans in like 90 minutes and got lit. And he's just like, no, you were okay, but mate, just like, I got a little chatty and a little bit effulgent. Let's put it that way. Oh, tell us more about that, Yule. Where was it? Was it in Alameda, where you keep the nuclear vessels? We're in Alameda. Yes, the nuclear vessels in Alameda. Do you know where we can find the nuclear vessels? That is from Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I bought, no lie, 11 different floppies this week. My spend this week was under $70, because I ended up going to my secondary local comic book shop, because at my primary local comic book shop, Green Lantern number 7 was sold out on Wednesday. And I needed it because it was that good. And I'm buying Green Lantern. So there's a story there. We have physical copies. That's what the show is about. We go to our local comic book shop. We buy comic books. We buy supplies there too. Hey, Dwayne Muth, good to see you. Indeed. I was so blessed and grateful to be on Wes's show yesterday, the Comics Aficionados, and I got to really open up about my feelings about Spider-Man. And all day today, too, on social media, on Twitter, I have been knee deep in one of these modern conversations about Alan Moore's Watchmen. Apparently, there's some hue and cry with one side of the aisle about not just the character of Rorschach, but the people that identify with and like Rorschach. So I've been like, I went through this magical misery tour of Watchmen, because Watchmen is it's great, but it's not a feel good movie. And Moore is capable of that feel good shit too. Seriously, like Images 1963, America's Best Comics, Tom Strong, America's Best Comics, top 10. There's but Watchmen was you're right. It's brilliant stuff. I feel that Watchmen actually started a couple of years before with the whole deconstruction of the modern superhero, when Alan Moore got his paws on Marvel Man and Miracle Man. And then that's where he first started this. And this is what, unless you've got another case that precedes Miracle Man, Marvel Man, where the whole deconstruction of the superhero really started. It wasn't in Watchmen. It wasn't Dark Knight Returns. It was Miracle Man, Marvel Man by Alan Moore once again too. So, so much so that I think Alan Moore consciously knew how much Marvel Man and Watchmen messed up comics, that I feel that Images 1963, which is 30 years old now, that Tom Strong and Top 10 are like his apology. That was like his apology tour, in a way that he was like so kind of penitent that he was like, you know what, he was writing other shit at the time too, in the early 80s around that stuff too, such as his Swamp Thing, such as his Tales of the Green Lantern Corps, and such as that Superman annual. All right, so he's always been capable of the aspirational traditional superhero story, but I'm really thinking he went through a dark phase in the early 80s, and he was able to express that through Marvel Man and through Watchmen. Because after Watchmen, that's when you had Dark Knight Returns and Martial Law on Epic Comics. Fucking Martial Law. Woo! That was, and then then came like Animal Man, Sandman, Black Orchid. Just that's when the comics came. And Dwayne, what are you saying? What we're saying about Ultimate Spidey? I'm with you there. Yes, we got the opportunity to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man for like an hour. You had 6 different grown comic book fans in the spectrum of age between 26 and mid 50s, talking about there's a couple of different generations of comic book fans. And we're talking about the brand new Ultimate Spider-Man #1. That was really great. I really had fun being knee deep in that conversation. And we'll talk about it a little bit more today too, because it's what's in the bag. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? What's in the bag? We'll find out at the end of the show, won't we? And I just want to say that I am buying all of my supplies at my local comic book shop. All year long last year, my entire mission was to switch out my old and aging long boxes and replace the bags and the boards. And I needed boards the entire time. Let me tell you that boards are very important to be archiving your comics because of spine roll. Because naturally your comics are going to fall over inside of your long box. And the backing board not only wicks off acidity and moisture, things that could damage your comic, especially if they're old newsprint comics from the Bronze Age and before. They actually help the spine roll in corners. So, I mean, I'm a convert. Like, get some acid-free backing boards. They are worth it. It's $15 for 100. And well, hello, AL. What are you doing here? Don't you have, like, you know, a COVID house to attend to? No, just AL. Like, she got, like, her entire family got nailed with the coof. And it's good to see you. It's good to see you feeling better too. And Bones here, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, often duplicated, never reproduced. We have the Bone. Is it like Cream? The band The Cream? The Cream. And here on the BBC Live Radio 1, we have The Cream. Oh, no, it's just Cream. I have an old BBC album of Cream's greatest BBC appearances, and it's exactly how it runs. It's a party now. That's right. And so, yeah, I've been dealing with the weaponization of Rorschach today. And also thinking about Watchmen and new ways that I haven't really thought about Watchmen in years. But I'm thinking that, like, wow, Adrian Veidt was the polaric opposite to Walter Kovacs, Rorschach. That, like, you know, with morality, you have this misfit, broken person, and then you have this evil genius too. Who saved the day? Who is the real hero? I mean, like, oh, there are no heroes in Watchmen. I don't think. No, thanks. Ooh, Dwayne Muth has an answer here. Well, Captain Britain was Moore's first deconstruction of a hero, and he highly recommends it. Also, something fun from Moore. Read D.R. and Quench with art by Alan Davis. Indeed. And but yeah, how many new comics did we read this week? The Marvel books. What did we read from Marvel books this week? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 Marvel books. And how many DC books? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different DC books. So let's start with the Marvel books. And I always thought that it sounded like Horseshag. Indeed. And Avengers issue 9 by Jed McKay and Company. Very bored. I mean, it loses me at the info dump page. Because at the info dump page, it has, actually, it's got one of those Marvel, like, you know, floating head things with captions, because it catches you up and tells you who is in this story, who are the Avengers on this team. And it goes, the Star, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, the Icon, Captain America, Sam Wilson, the Witch, Scarlet Witch, the Construct, the Vision, the God, Thor, the Engineer, Iron Man, and the King, T'Challa, Black Panther. And that's an interesting comic book style conversation. But the compression of time, but I mean, is in all of the other books, and this is Avengers Legacy number 775, by the way. So this could have had some kind of trade dress on it or inflated cover price of being of a milestone issue, because usually they're on the 25s, like 25, 50, 75, 100s. So Rorschach. That's Rorschach. Yeah, huh? I just That's what's going on in the live chat right now. It's Yule Carter said, I always thought it sounded like Rorschach. Right, exactly. I mean, just and yeah, I'm just going with it, man. That's what I do. That's all I do is I wing it. That's all I got. It's just I got two wings. Ha ha! Caw! That's right. Spread your wings. Spread your wings. That's a Queen song. Blade number 7 was fun because it was basically a Hulk issue. Hulk issue 7 just came out too recently, but this is Bruce Banner shows up, and it's the most modern. It's the Philip Kennedy Johnson version of both Bruce Banner and of Hulk. So this was actually a good issue, really good issue. I kind of fell off of Blade the past couple of issues, and this brings it back. Yet I didn't buy it. See, for me here, the proof of the pudding is on the plate, and that yes, I'm blessed to get these pirated review copies, but the proof of the pudding is on the plate. What did I buy? We're gonna find out in the bags because we did buy. I had to go to my secondary comic book shop because I needed to get Green Lantern 7. I ended up getting another comic book that I didn't think I was going to buy. Got a nice variant cover too, because I'm a sucker for a variant cover. But Blade number 7 could easily be filed in as the Incredible Hulk 7.1. Let's put it that way. If you're familiar with the Marvel .1 filing system and issue release kind of publishing gimmick. Captain Marvel number 4 by you, Alyssa Wong. This is not made for me. I was really hoping this was the final issue. It's just the word. I give respect when there's time to give respect, and there can be decent stuff given by someone that hates you and that you should hate as well. Hey, wait a second. What happened there? Usually the background on of stuff. Now when I turn my TV on, I immediately get the
I heard the last from James, that he was just getting started.
Like the Hallmark Channel. It's like
apparently he was having a meeting with the school.
It's the default on my TV. Then I have to go choose my TV settings. Yes, these are things that Pika would have taken care of if he was allowed to touch buttons. And we all know that Pika is not allowed to touch buttons. I use a PS4 as in my interface to my apps. I basically watch YouTube and Prime, Amazon Prime. But yeah, Captain Marvel 4, there was actually a couple of, one kind of really good thing was this, the girl is wearing this tape on her face. So it's kind of like a reverse domino mask, but the tape itself disrupts cameras. And so you can't visually identify the hero. So, I mean, which I really thought was a nice innovation. Maybe Ms. Wong stole it from someone, or maybe she made it up herself. There we go. And then turn it down, because that's going to get annoying. Exactly. 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness. I literally walked in the house like 7 minutes before 3 o'clock, before go time. I knew I was cutting it thin. I mean, I didn't care. It was like 3 pints of Guinness for $15. The price of beer is so expensive in Massachusetts right now. It's like $9 for a pint of Guinness at the pub. And like if you get a plate of food, and the plate of food goes like over $16, about 20. I mean, you get like 2 beers and a plate of food, that's $40. And you need to tip. Don't go out to a bar if you can't tip the waitress or the bartender. I mean, just like, man, yeah. Where's my beer? Right here. Cheers. Indeed. I'm a little slapdash today. I don't mind one bit. I'm having the best time right now. I'm living the best life. I'm living my best life. I hope you are too. Well, that happened. I burned my tattoo with polenta, molten polenta. I'm a chef. I mean, yeah, polenta. That's why we wear sleeves. You're like, how can you wear that long ass sleeve, that long sleeve cotton jacket, a chef coat in the hot ass kitchen? Like, because you got to protect your arms. Sometimes you roll up your sleeves, and because you don't want the cuffs of your shirt to fall in raw chicken or anything, because that's gross and like unhealthy. But don't pick at your scabs, please. Don't do that. That's gross. But Captain Marvel 4, I mean, it had a superhero kind of thing that I found respectable, and I'll give it to Alyssa Wong. Just because it's about just. I'm sorry, I'm her enemy. She blocked me on Twitter for being on a block list. Sorry. Daredevil Gang War #2. It was fine. There's some kind of Wolverine female clone. Maybe it's like Laura Kinney undercover. Who knows? It's only part 2 of 3, so it's act 2 of 3 in a 3-act little story here. We've got Giant Size Spider-Man #1, written by Cody Zegler. This is a 2-part Miles Morales story, but this actually is a really good Miles Morales Spider-Man story, probably the most important Miles Morales Spider-Man story published in years. And this really gets this could be a key issue. All right. And I'm not one for hey, key issue, you can you can make a lot of money on this. It's a speculator thing. I'm really not into the whole speculator thing. I can be, though. I mean, because we're gonna look at this again at the end of the show, because I did buy something that I might have identified as a key, and we'll come back to that at the end of the show. Yeah. But yeah, we have Daredevil Gang War #2, and it's because it's Elektra. Yeah. And Giant Size Spider-Man #1. We have Luke Cage Gang War #3. And it's the gang war stuff. We have Miles Morales Spider-Man #15. Sure. You have Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099 #2. Like the #1 came out like last week. I don't even know if I read this one. I'll get to it because it's like it's not bad. Oh my goodness. Mess my arm up here. We'll come back to that at the end. Wolverine #41, Skip. Ultimate Spider-Man #1, skip, because they could be in a bag of comic books. Woo-hoo. Thunderbolts #2 by Lansing and Kelly. I mean, I figured it out. They're also doing Outsiders on DC, and both of these have been written by Warren Ellis in the past. So both of these current ones by Lansing and Kelly are basically aping Warren Ellis when they could just like hire Warren Ellis. And it's just like it's not very good. Star Wars The Mandalorian season 2 issue #8. So this is the final episode of season 2, and this is the one with Luke Skywalker, and the this is the finale. Did the show end as flatly as this book? Because it was pretty darn rushed by the end. And I just, whatever. Star Wars #42 by Charles Soule was decent, but it's all like kind of like an internal, like it's Luke's dream state of talking to Sith Lords and stuff. I'm bleeding. What do you want? There's Spider-Gwen Smash #2. I totally skipped that. Yeah, I'll read it later. I'll have to. I read everything. But I just could, like, issue 1 was so not made for me. But I do hope that these things are being bought by the people who are it's marketed at. Hey, George Lucas, good to see you. AL said, I went to my LCS yesterday, my local comic book shop, my LCS. Picked up Transformers #4, Saturday morning cartoons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #8 and 9, and Zorro, and a free Marvel calendar. Yes, I did too. One of the managers at work liked the calendar that I got from Yule Carter. And so I'm at the other comic book shop and I'm like, here's the swags pile. And it's like, they have the calendar. So I'm like, can I grab one of these? And they're like, yeah, go for it. And I'm like, cool. Cause I'm going to give it to my buddy, the manager at work, who's like a comic book fan. I only found out over the past year or so. They're like, what, you cosplay? I'm like, yeah, I go to conventions every year, man. I love going to comic book conventions. I've already got tickets for Wicked Boston Comic Con and Fan Expo 2024. I bought them as soon as, because if you buy them as soon as they're available, you're gonna get they're the cheapest they ever get. And hey, call me Mark. How are you, man? Good to see you, Mark McGrath. Good to see you. How are you? Where are you? There you are. Ha ha! Awesome. Hail spam. Yes, exactly. Ha ha. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much for coming by. I'll just reuse my calendar from last year. You can reuse a calendar every 4 years or every 7 years. Well, let me know in the chat. Let's see what else we got going on from Marvel Comics. The Century issue #2. It's all bollocks. Who cares? Well, it's just like this is about power sharing. This is all modern shit in comic books. They've taken the Sentry and split his powers between a few different diverse and differently abled younger people. And some of them are badly motivated and some of them are heroically motivated. And maybe one of them will, be the Sentry at the end, or maybe there'll be the Sentry Squad by the end. Who knows? I don't care. It's really not that good. But Sensational She-Hulk #4 by Rainbow Rowell wasn't all that bad. Okay, because this book is not made for me. It's called Gensational Part 4. And by the end of it, She-Hulk's in trouble for hulking out and being herself in Manhattan, where there's a superhero an anti-vigilante act going on right now in Marvel Manhattan. So Jen is like, there's paparazzi outside of her flat, and what she does though is she goes out on a girls' night out. She powers down, so she's just Jenny Walters again, and it's good to see Jen Walters. I like that, and she's not really even visually based after Tatiana Maslany either, which is here nor there. I think Tatiana Maslany is beautiful. But she's on a girls' night out with Patsy Walker, Hellcat, with Carol Danvers, who's also sober. She's canonically sober, so it's like I always like it when Carol orders, when she hangs out and she orders a soda or a ginger ale or something, because everyone else is having margaritas and and White Claws and shit like that. And I was a big fan of HBO's television show in the late 90s and early aughts, Sex and the City, with Sarah Jessica Parker and company, Kim Cattrall. It was a fun show. I mean, the movie sucked. I didn't even attempt to look at the new show. The original show itself, it was a sitcom. It was a really fun 22 minutes, a situational comedy. Every episode kept within its theme. It used the diner scene as the glue. It was so well crafted and engineered. I mean, I really liked Sex in the City. And no, she didn't twerk again. No, that I remember. But overall, I mean, this issue is like Rainbow Rowell is writing Sex in the City with a Marvel Universe skin. And it's a green skin named She-Hulk. And it's fine. I mean, I hope whoever this is marketed to ends up buying it. That's good to know. Thank you. For 2024, you can use a 1940 calendar, 1968, or 1996. Indeed. So I don't, and it's not terrible. And these issues have not been terrible. And Perch was right. Rainbow Rowell is like, she's not on Twitter blocking people and like saying divisive shit. You know what I mean? To the other side of the aisle. She's a YA writer. And this is Perch was right. Hashtag Perch was right. Rainbow Rowell is a model of success when it comes to hiring a YA writer to write a big 2 superhero book. And we're going to end the Marvel stack with The Rise of the Powers of X, or The Powers of 10, issue number 1 by Kieran Gillen. And this is one of those set in its own bubble universe things where the team, spoilers, the team dies. Hey, Fair Monarch, how you doing? You never liked Sex in the City. Well, I don't know what to say. Maybe you did not own enough pairs of Manolo Blahniks or something in 1999. I don't know. But The Rise of the Powers of 10. Yeah, it's just like, at least it starts off thematically on what Hickman laid down all the way back in Powers of 10, House of X. And specifically for me, what I picked up in X-Men Volume 4, issue number 1, written by Hickman with wonderful art by Lionel Francis Yule. I always thought it was going to boil down to an ideological struggle between the leaders of the team, Cyclops, who would send out suicide bombers because of Krakoan resurrection, versus Storm, who would abhor a decision such as that, even with resurrection protocols. Cyclops would look at that as a tactical advantage that could be used, for victory. I mean, because remember, Cyclops he's the general. He is like one of his character arcs, and it's very fulfilling for me too to see Scott grow, has been to accept that, you know what I mean, that darker aspect of being the general, that you might have to commit atrocity in order to win the day. Scott Summers is capable of atrocity. Storm, on the other hand, would choose compassion and kindness. I love Storm, and I love it. So it's like, and nothing against Rainbow Rowell, but what was her big success? I'm not sure. And cool. So Yule Carter, if you don't know it at home, is the owner and proprietor of Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California, a local comic book shop, and one of my local comic book shops. And if you need a local comic book shop, his deets are in the description of this show. Get a hold of Yule and he could hook you up. That's your business with him. This is not a paid advertisement. He's my friend. And Roll did kids books, but Yule's been sold out of Ultimate Spidey 1 since Thursday, and I saw at least 12 copies at my secondary LCS. But they're the ones with the variant copies. They had the black costume variant, they had the Ben Reilly variant, they had the J. Scott Campbell variant, what looked like the David LaFuente variant. I want the Carrie Andrews variant. I mean, I can find that for $15 on eBay. That was fine. Shameless plugs are shameless. It's true. But yeah, but I almost got the black. There was only one copy of the black costume variant cover. I almost got that, but I think I'm holding out for just pulling the trigger for the Carrie Andrews variant, because I love the way that book looks. That because I'd be buying it not only because I've been like, I was on West with Carrie Andrews once, and it's because that's a magnificent cover. But the Rise of the Powers of X, issue 1, it's pretty confounding, but I liked it a lot better after I read a primer. I read kind of like a wiki, and it was, oh, that explains everything. So now I get it, and I'm like, okay, so this issue, in hindsight, is a lot better once I had someone explain it to me after I read it. I mean, it's a lot of action. It's a lot of dying, but it's about a closed off timeline. We have to remember that one of the premises of the past, of the Krakoan age of the X-Men, has been revolving around Moira McTaggart, aka Moira X or Moira 10. Apparently she gets 10 redos with her mutant power, that every time she dies, she just wakes up in the past as a baby, fully conscious, kind of like Dune, like the like Alia, Saint Alia of the Knife, the abomination, who wakes up, who is prescient, who has all the Reverend Mother's memories before she was born. Like, no child should have to do that. I mean, like, so she was already like, wow, yeah. So Moira McTaggart got there's like this weird Dune angle. So she wakes up in every life with the accrued experience of what she did in those previous lives. And so Mr. Sinister was able to clone Moira and graft her ability onto a Sinister. So therefore now we have subdivergent timelines that are not Moira timelines, They're Sinister's timelines based upon Moira's grafted gifts. And now you have another kind of Dune convention. The Dune had this in their later Frank Herbert books called a no ship, was where prescients could not find you. Someone, a Kwisatz Haderach, a Bene Gesserit, an honored Matra with spice-enhanced abilities could not find you with their prescience in second sight because you're in an Ixian no ship. It's technology that's meant to insulate you, to separate you from space-time in a way. And so you have Charles and Rasputin the Fourth and his own team in Moira's room, which is now a no ship, traveling outside of space and time and outside of timelines. So their mission is to save it all in a way. So yeah, it wasn't that bad. This, like I said, hopefully you can feel the joie de vivre. This issue got a lot better when I read this primer article about it. It was like, oh, I understand this now. That's great. Oh boy. She-Hulk under Rainbow Rowell was canceled, then relaunched with a new number 1. So the Teeny Howard Excalibur model of winning. Yeah. And I've actually liked the past 2 issues of Teeny Howard's Catwoman. So hopefully she has it in her to be competent. You know, that's the best I could ask for any of these, especially the new writers. And those are the Marvel comic books this week. What was over on DC Comics? It was Action Comics 1061. Put a pin on that, as my therapist says. We'll get to that in the bag. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Oh, boy. I need some Yule Carter style video bumps that aren't going to get me in trouble with the man. You know. Hello, hello, hello. 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Da, 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 da. A machine head. Da, 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 da. Oh, excuse me. Holy shit. Let's see what was going on. I think I bounced before the part, but someone was talking on Gray's stream that they'll upload it on a burner channel first and see if it gets hit. Indeed. That's a good one. Batman, Gargoyle of Gotham, Noir edition, issue number 2. Okay, this was a black and white edition of Raphael Grampa's Black Label, Batman, Gargoyle of Gotham. It's just black and white line art, but it really accentuates the lettering. Now, lettering is such a sublime part of the art. It's lettered by John Workman, who is like one of like the old masters. Like for me, John Workman, Tom Morzachowski, who did the X-Men books. I like Clem Robbins. You know, I like a good lettering and a decent hand lettered lettering. And John Workman's like a Bronze Age master. He's been doing it since I was a kid. And he's also doing Ronin Book 2 with Frank Miller. So I mean, just like Workman's like, yeah, he's just an old master at this, and just he could be doing it digitally for all I know. I don't think he is, or maybe it's a synthesis of the two. It looks so key and authentic. I mean, and it looks great too. So it's just black and white line art, and I'm just really digging the hell out of that. And there's also another one called Batman Joker, The Deadly Duo, issue number 1 by Mark Silvestri. It's called Unplugged. And this one is just black and white line art. And there are no word balloons. There's no dialogue. It's all show, don't tell. It's just a niche version of this best-selling Batman book. But for me personally, I was like, I'm blown away by the lack of the coloring's great, but everything's done digital these days. Lettering's great, but most of it, the majority of it is done it digitally these days. That's along with onomatopoeia. And just to see pencils and inks au naturel. I mean, for me, it thrills me. I love it. And so these two Batman books this week have been really, they get a lot of respect out of me. I almost bought the noir edition of Gargoyle of Gotham number 2. I had it in my hand. I do not understand a bloody thing that's going on in Ronin book 2. I look at the pretty pictures, and there's only one more issue left. So I'm going to read the whole thing after it's done too. So I didn't even like Ronin 1. I love Dark Knight. I love his Daredevil. I mean, that was one of my first books ever I bought, like off the spinner rack. Summer of 1981. Come on, 174, 175, 176. The Columbia Bike Banner contest. But I mean, yeah, it's the art is just so good. It was because, why do I buy Ronin book 2? It's because literally Dan DiDio sold me on it. He opened up every page. He turned to every page. Splash page, splash page, splash page, splash page. His exuberance, his dynamism. He was there to sell comic books. And guess what? Mission accomplished. I told him, I'm not going to buy one here off the table with you. I'm going to buy it at my local comic book shop. And I did. And I'm very still pleased about that, because Ronin book 2, like that too, has John Workman lettering. I mean, geez. Gosh. We got Batman and Robin number 5 by Joshua Williamson. And we don't have Simone DeMeo on art this time. Who is on art this time? Let's go to the first page, please. Oh, that's I can't pronounce your name either. Oh, how mighty white of you, huh? You cannot pronounce my name. But I like to call it Damian Wayne 90210. And because it's Damian in high school. It's not that the art's great. It's just I like it a lot better than Simon DeMeo's stuff. It looks very anime-ish. Nicola Sismezga. Sismagia. Nicola Sismagia? Is that how you say it? But it was fun. It was fine. Batman and Robin. Yeah. Sure. Birds of Prey Uncovered number 1. That was just it was just a collection of the of reprints of the variant covers, especially the cheesecakey ones. Because, here you go. They're like, you have this team of girls, but are you going with the cheesecake? You're going to be like Dynamite Comics? You're going to, really own it? Well, DC more often than they will. Have you seen those Stanley Art Germ Lau Power Girl variant covers? Those are pretty sexy. I mean, oh, here's a good one too. Dwayne moves, the Brubaker, Darwin Cook, Batman, Catwoman's. Those are pretty hardcore, especially because she's fighting Black Mask, Roman Sidonis, and he's really evil. Like when he captures Selina's sister and husband, and I don't want to repeat what Black Mask did to Catwoman's sister. It's really awful. And this was in a comic book, a Batman family comic book. This really macabre, over the top, horrible endings. Seriously. I mean, so, hey, that's the birthday boy. How are you? Cheers, brother. Happy birthday, Gray. Well, hello there, Frank Frazetta. I will say, just because I love Alex Ross, but Frank Frazetta, well, I've known him longer, such as like through the 70s, being a small child and looking at heavy metal magazines and all those Marvel fantasy magazines. And he had a lot of tits and a lot of butt cheeks and a lot of hot women and a lot of just like that, that triangulation thing. You always find that golden triangle and a Frazetta. Yeah. But yeah, I like Frazetta. I mean, Alex is great, Ross is great, but Frazetta, is a little bit more original, I think. Yo, there he is, the birthday boy. We have Green Lantern #7, which we're gonna put a pin in. What's in the bag? Outsiders #3. We kind of talked about this a little earlier with the big disappointment that is Thunderbolts #2 by Lansing and Kelly, who they write that they're a team writer, and they're writing Outsiders #3. Now, the unitive fiber between these two they were both written by Warren Ellis at one time. Not the Outsiders, but he wrote Planetary, and these Outsiders it's kind of like a Planetary ripoff in a way, using DC characters as a Planetary team. And Outsiders #3 wasn't that bad. Yeah, Speed Force #3. Oh man, it's just, I'm a huge Flash fan, so it's like I really want to enjoy Flash family books. I loved Impulse. I'm liking the Jay Garrick book now, and I'm just a big Flash fan, but it makes it hard to like it with its contemporary art style, very digital, and yeah, it's I don't want to describe it badly because it's like I don't want to throw shade at it. I know it's trying. Beast World #4. We don't have Ivan Rice anymore in this. Ivan Rice will show up for a little bit in the next issue, but I don't know. Was it a bait and switch? It's pretty fun. I got to give it to Tom Taylor. I mean, hey, it doesn't suck. It's fun. I mean, and sometimes that's all you need in a superhero comic book. It's just got to be fun. And then there's Wesley Dodds, The Sandman #4. And I want to say once again, a really good book. Robert Venditti is nailing it. It's set in the golden age of 1940 with Wesley Dodds, the original Sandman, who's a bit more of a pacifist. He doesn't want to kill people, but he's just which is interesting. I identify as a pacifist. I grew up in a culture of violence in South Boston, Massachusetts, in the projects. I know what violence brings. It just brings more violence, and it's just, it's a language. It's a communication tool. It's a bargaining chip. Yet you don't need to have violence to solve all the problems. And so I really respect that out of Wesley Dodds. And also that Riley Rossmo's style and tone fits the book. And it's really good. It's just the digital shit that they throw on top of that that's just distracting. Yet this book got two really beautiful variant covers. I hope you're able to get it. One by Francesco Francavilla and the other one by Jeff Lemire. And I couldn't find, I looked for them and I couldn't find any of these variant covers. I am a sucker for a variant cover here and there. And I would totally have gotten the Francavilla or the Lemire. And I haven't bought any of these. But, that to me that's art. And it's appreciating art and buying art in a way too. And those are the DC comics for this week. So here we come. We have come to what's in the bag. What is in the bag? I went to my local comic book shop on Wednesday. And I bought 9 floppies. It was about $45 or so. Yet I spent about over 10 minutes looking at the new release shelf. What I do is I get real up close to it and I look around it, tactile. And then I step back from the other side of the store and look at the shelf from afar. And I always tend to find something just doing that, stepping back and looking again. And I've been buying Green Lantern since issue 1. So issue 7 came out this week. If I saw it on the shelf, I would have just snagged it. It didn't register to me then. It was, DC Comics release on Tuesdays now. Wednesday is traditionally new release day. So if your store is open on a Tuesday, they have a choice of putting out their DC Comics on Tuesday. So by the time I got to my local comic book shop on Wednesday, about 2 p.m., 3 hours after they opened on the traditional new release day, they're already sold out of Green Lantern number 7. Because I went back on Friday after work just to check the shelves real quick. I'm like, oh wow, there are no Green Lanterns on this shelf. I must have been right. I didn't see it on Wednesday. So I ended up going to my secondary local comic book shop. And that's why we've got 11 new releases this week. I spent about $64 on new comics. And I'm going to tell you why, because I actually bought duplicates of a comic that I think could be a key issue. Let's get into it. All right. What did I buy this? What's in the bag? Here we go. The ubiquitous brown paper bag. And do I like foil covers? I love foil covers. I love lenticular covers. I love gimmick covers. I love zero issues. I am a sucker for cool shit, or what I perceive as cool. I mean, that's more of a subjective thing, but I mean, I can totally be talked. I can totally be talked into a variant cover just because it looks cool, and it's only $1 more. We'll see one. So what did I get this week? There are 9 floppies here, and then I got 2 more new floppies. So I got 11 new floppies just this week, which probably cost about, say, $55, because I got 2 other issues of something else at about $5 each. So what did I get? Got Sacrificers number 6 of 6 by Rick Remender, Max Fumara, and Dave McCaig on Image. And I believe this is also on, what's it called? Ghost what? Giant Generator, which is the Rick Remender imprint. It's like Ghost Machine. That's Jeff Johns' imprint with his collective of talent. You know what I mean? So this is Sacrifices by Rick Mender, issue 6. It's been a wild ride. It's really good. I picked this up for $3.99. It's the facsimile reprint of X-Men #1, and this is going to look great on my spinner rack. I just think this is fun. Here we go. Oh, it's classic X-Men as you can get. The first, there's a bunch of X-Men comic books on my spinner rack. This is going to look great with them. And plus, too, I've got some fantastic comics from Yule in Berkeley, California, and he snuck in Astonishing Adventures from the early 80s, and it's a reprint of X-Men #5. So now I have like a reprint of X-Men 1, I got a reprint of X-Men 5, and I like that. It just really pulls shit together, just like, just like look at this. There's like a mini history of the X-Men right there. I love our hobby. I really do. We got Transformers #4. This is a great book. It's fun. It's well drawn. It seems to have stakes. And just look at this art. Look at these battle scenes. Look at that. This is all hell breaking loose on planet Earth between giant robots and the organic form of life that Starscream calls squishies. Oh, the squishies. I got Bloodrick #2. The art in this is incredible. I love it. I don't even like... It's a sound effect. It's onomatopoeia, and it's hand drawn. I like the art in this a lot. I've never been a big fan of Sword and Shield, but this is really good. Yule Carter actually recommended Bloodrick more than a month ago on his show, and Sarge too. And I was like, you know what? Yes, please. I'll do it. The stuff's good. Nice art, nice pacing, great panels. I got Zorro by Sean Gordon Murphy. I was going to back this online as a crowdfunder, and I didn't. I held off because this is what I thought was going to happen. This is published on Massive Comics, aka the physical print media, the print publication arm of Whatnot. And that's that's the publisher that Sean Murphy is involved with. He just republished his plot holes in 5 issues and the same kind of cover stock and everything on Massive Comics. And that's Whatnot. Spinner? Did I say Cinerac? The Cinerac? Yeah, the Cinerac really tied the room together. You opened the box, we came. That's all we got to say. But it's Sean Murphy, man. It's well written. It's actually a really good story told because he's a very good comic book storyteller, and he got the rights and bought them for Zorro. I mean, I'm all into that. I'm a big fan of Sean. What else do we got? We've got Ultimate Spider-Man #1. So this is the Marco Cicchetto A cover. And so I could have got the one with him, just like this, but with his black costume. And then they had the other one, which the other variant was, it would look at the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume, not the Scarlet Spider costume. They didn't have one of those. It was just, it's the Ben Reilly Spider-Man outfit. You know what I'm talking about, if you know what I'm talking about. And there was a J. Scott Campbell cover with Mary Jane. I think there was a David LaFuente cover with Mary Jane. And the one I want is the Carrie Andrews one. This cost, how much did this cost? Was this $5.99 or $6.99? This was $5.99. Yeah. But not a lot happens in this, though. I've been comparing this a lot to Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk #1 because Hulk was not in that issue a lot. He was pretty much barely shown at the end of issue 1. And same thing with Spider-Man here. Stand by. Check, check. There we go. Sorry about that. And hey, Lane Kramer, how you doing? Good to see you. What was $400? Was it the variant cover for Sean Gordon Murphy's Zorro #1? Hey, howdy, Michelle Bowers. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. He usually comes to all of the Boston-based conventions too, because he lives up in Portland, Maine, and I always go right up to him, and he's very approachable. He's a very cool dude, and I've talked to him like 3 different times. So, what am I doing? That's why you got up for the first place. You got to get that. Hello. There we go. Awesome. I couldn't bring myself to buy Ultimate Spider-Man. There were still a few left at your LCS. Nice. Nice. And what else do we have? Okay. So yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man #1. I got this because I read about it in our Wednesday show, but this is Adventure Man Ghost Lights #1 on Image. It's by Matt Fraction with art by the Dodsons. Yeah, Terry and Rachel Dodson, and Terry Dodson does the colors, and so it's like they only do like lots of covers these days, but back in the early aughts, they did a lot of comic books together. They did a wonderful Spider-Man Marvel Knights comic book. They did a lot of DC stuff. I love the Dodsons. They're still together, and they're still making beautiful art together. And I didn't even know about what this book was. I didn't know it was a continuation of a previous series, but I hadn't seen a new comic book from Matt Fraction in like forever. And I'm not like huge and critical about Fraction. I know he's pretty hit or miss. Like look at Marvel. It's like he's got Iron Fist and he's got Hawkeye, but then there's also Fear itself, and stuff like that. And so but I'm a huge fan of Matt Fraction's Casanova on Image with Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon. And that is, for me, one of my top 10 favorite comic books of all time. It's beautiful art, great story. If you like that kind of like spy shit. And there we go. Sorry about that. And but yeah, I haven't even opened her up yet. But this is art by the Dodsons, and it's written by Matt Fraction. And yeah, it was $3.99. It's one of two. So it's a very short series. So I mean, why not? I'll check it out. Like I said, like don't be afraid to like just pick something up. I mean, look at those creators. I mean, I was following those creators 20 years ago. Let's let's see how they're doing now. I like that. I like that a lot. What was that? Did that really not so great too? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and the last two physical, well, actually, no, not the last two, but I picked up Action Comics 1061 by Jason Aaron. I've been buying the Philip Kennedy Johnson books. That he is who got me to buy that in the first place. So I'm happy to report that I've been buying Action Comics. I've been buying Superman funny books too, more so than Batman. And it's like, so the Superman books have been great lately. This is a variant cover, cardstock variant cover, $1 more, $5.99. No backup feature. It's a pure 40 pager, but it's Jason Aaron's first Action Comic story. And he reintroduces, oh, and look at that. We got the regular cover on the first page underneath it. So it's like an extra cover or something. I think it is. Yeah. And it's a Bizarro story. But yeah, I like the Jorge Jimenez cover. I like that cover. And so I'm like, sure. I got the past 10 issues plus maybe two annuals. So, let's give it a try. Why not? It was just kind of meh. I don't know if I'll buy the next issue. And yeah, it wasn't all that great, but it was fine. It was perfectly serviceable. But I mean, this was the last copy. This was on the shelf. This came out 2 weeks ago. This is Duke, issue number 1 by Joshua Williamson. This is part of a shared Hasbro universe on Skybound Comics. This spins directly out of the events of Transformers issue number 2, wherein the pilot of one of the U.S. Air Force planes that engaged a few Decepticons and lost has to deny their existence of this UFO incident or be kicked out of the army. And that's what happens to Sergeant Conrad Hauser, aka Duke, who is the top kick of the G.I. Joe company. And said this unites Transformers and G.I. Joe. This week, coming out on Wednesday, comes Cobra Commander, issue number 1, which is united with Duke number 1 and the Transformers. And I'm in on that too. All right. I read a pirated version of this 3 weeks ago. And it was so good that I've been mulling it over. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get like really caught up in all of like this crossover malarkey, but maybe I am for this one. And it makes me happy. It's pretty fun. The art in this is really good. Like the colors and the tones and the action. Overall, this has been a really interesting comic book. Like, look, there's Duke. He enters the warehouse, and what does he see? Nothing but Cobra toys, fangs and claws and hiss tanks. Oh my. And a claw backpack. Oh my goodness. Is that did I say that twice? But it's toyetic. I like this a lot. So I went back and bought it. Yeah, I mean, this was good. But I had a problem. So Green Lantern number 7 was sold out already. I had to have got it. I had to have had it. So I went to my second comic book shop. I got the calendar. The 2004 Marvel calendar. I got it for a friend at work too. So yeah, I got Green Lantern 7 because it was important to me to get it because it was actually really good. And the art changed from Germanico to the guy that was doing Hawkgirl, Aman K. Nalapan. And I like the art in this so much better than Germanico. Sorry, Germanico. It's just like I'm this is a bit more traditional super heroic for me, and I'm really loving the shit out of this comic book right now. I feel like Jeremy Adams did his first 6 issues. That was the introductory trade paperback. It was supposed to be safe as milk. Now Jeremy Adams is going to hopefully, he's got 24 to 36 issues that he can really do something with Green Lantern and some Green Lantern stories. He's got my attention. He's got my dollar. He's got my patronage. I'm really liking this. And we'll find which one. We'll find a Green Lantern in a dollar bin soon. And there no double main cub. No, I don't think so. Nice. I go there every once in a while. That's cool. Yeah, that's within striking distance of the Fortress of Solitude. And but yeah, I mean, spoilers is Kilowog dead? No, he's not. That's the yellow power lantern. He's been absconded to the antimatter universe of Quard or something like that. I wouldn't think that Kilowog's dead. I think he's literally like, he's a prisoner in Quard. Something happened with the yellow power battery that was on Kurugar. But this was good. I liked it. And look, there's a Crisis on Infinite Earths animated coming out. Check that out. But while I was there, I got another copies of issue number 6. So I got 2 copies of the Santa and 1 of the A cover of issue 6 of Green Lantern. Now, this is when, at the end of it, Green Lantern says that, Hal Jordan says, oh, yeah, I got Kilowog killed. But what I noticed that it was Razor's first appearance in the DCU, in the comic books. Razor being the Red Lantern from Green Lantern, the animated series, who ends up being the composite Blue-Red Lantern by season 3 of Young Justice. And I had a nice conversation with the guy who wrote that episode, Aaron Sparrow. And I asked him, I was like, Aaron, is this Razor's first appearance? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. So this is a key issue, huh? So I went back. So I have three copies of issue 6 of Green Lantern, which I'm just going to bag, board, and put away, because I believe this is a key issue. I think that this is going to be a $20 issue 10 years from now. And I'm willing to make that bet. I mean, yeah, that's part of it. And then came this issue too. I mean, it starts off slow, soft roll, kind of like, oh boy, here we go, another multiverse adventure. And it's called Sabretooth War by Benjamin Percy. And this is Wolverine issue 41. And this is a variant cover by Greg Capullo. And this has a shocker of an ending that just makes you want to get the next issue. So I'm thinking I might be in for Sabretooth War by Wolverine. See, it's got the Fall of X trade dress still. Hey, Dawn of DC is no longer a trade dress. So, but we're still doing Fall of X over on Marvel for a little bit longer. And this is, wow, this was good. This surprised me. Yeah. So Ben Percy's like, he's a real mixed kind of bag on stuff for me personally, but this ended up being so good. And it's got tones of John Carpenter's The Thing for me as well, like visually being like this bleak, like Arctic backdrop of like desolation and solitude. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, still, I mean, I think all the X-Men would have one more do-over. And that's the one that's going to, reset the universe. So, yeah. But this was good. And that's the floppies for this week. That's it. Yeah, that's the show. And thank you so much for tuning in. Unless you guys got something on your minds, let me know in the chat. If there's something going on out there. Like, we're going to stay far away from independent crowdsourcing comic book creator drama. I listen to all of those people. I follow all of them, and it's weird. But it's a very small pond. There's only so many resources in the pond, and so it could get dog eat dog, or in this pond case, fish eat fish. It really is. So, because it is about capitalism, it is about business, it is about market share, it's about producing and getting, doing it right and selling it to people. So there is a fierceness behind it. It must be no joke for some of these people, especially the creators, the producers of these, crowdsourced, magazines. I just, hey, I look at it this way. I did junior achievement in high school for 2 years, and it's a lot like what the crowd funders do. There's a better system to it now. People are like, okay, we've done this a few times. Do what I do. This is who I go to for a publisher. This is who I go to. This is the supplies I get to fulfill. Once you've drawn it, once you've proofed it, once you've sent it off to the printers, once it's been returned to you, and then you have to pack it up and ship it to people. It reminds me a lot of junior achievement in high school. Yeah, it's yeah, pretty much. But it's more of the spirit of it too. It's more of like, it's a small pond. And it's interesting because that is the marketplace. Oh, and these are, or are they fighting over everything? such as the market share, and that it's really eat or be eaten, because there are so many failures. I mean, have you been to a convention lately? And have you been like in the middle of the hall where it's all the independent people, and you only stop at every once or table or so, because there's just like so many things that just like don't interest you. But like sometimes I'm like, I feel bad, because it's like they even say, like, they sound like the water sellers of Akareen and Dune, like, "Soo soo sook, come and drink our water." And they're like, "Come on, you want to try out a new comic book?" And I'm like, and you go to their table because you're like, oh, you want to be polite, but you just have no intent. I was on my way to the dollar bins, and and I don't know. It's like it's got to be a tough gig. It really is, to be an independent comic book creator, and because there is like this real Pareto principle. You ever heard of the Pareto principle? It's kind of like the just like, it's an amazing, like 1 in 10 are successful, and a very small percent really benefit from the work of many. And yeah, I mean, I love the dollar bins. Thank you, Yule. Indeed. Did Steve Rude separate himself from Mike Barron because of all that stuff too? Yeah, he's a force. He's like he's like one of the hardest working people in independent comic books. And he shared with me as kind of a secret, an open secret, but he published Here Comes Calico in a tankobon format. He also had to like reformat the panels, the panel arrangement, the pages, because I looked at like Here Comes Calico 1 and tankobon version 1, because I like, and so he had to like literally like mess around with the pages a bit, but he can't keep the tankobon on his table. He just sell. He like he like, and it's just like he like found a key to the marketplace. And I'm just like, that's great. Because Calico, that's if you are a Punisher fan, you are going to love Here Comes Calico by H.H. German on Sigma Comics. I mean, seriously, it's like, Punisher fans, rejoice. You have somewhere to go. I didn't expect it to be so hyper violent, but this was like Garth Lenesevel, and I'm like, oh, right, this got the gusto. It really does. Yeah, I've been in it for like three cons now, and it's good. It's always good to see him. And one of these days, hopefully, like I'll get to take him out for supper or something. And but yeah, so oh boy, it's been an hour and a half. Well, thank you so very much. Happy Martin Luther King Day. And let's just take time, and if we have the day off and blessed with it, then let's think about it and appreciate it too. And I have a dream that one day, someone won't judge me for any of like, anything, and just, oh, what do I think of? It was weird because they moved its location from Seaport to the Heinz Convention Center. And also, the other half of that is that Wicked Boston Con moved up to August and is in the Seaport. So that's moved, the third annual Wicked Boston Con went from Seaport to Heinz, now back to Seaport. And Fan Expo is going to be in town, which I kind of like better, because getting to the Seaport's a pain in the ass. I really think, yeah, that's just my humble opinion. But and I like the bar better. I like going to Bukowski's for chili dogs more than I like going to that Irish bar. That's at the convention center because I like the food better. But yeah, I mean, I got tickets for both of them anyway, so I'll have the time off and I'll be checking them out. So if you're in the Boston area for these conventions, well, use the social networkings to network and say, hey, we'll be here then, and come and hang out. Mm-hmm. It's my goal to have a beer with Perch and have a beer with Sean Gordon Murphy. And hopefully there'll be a gang of us there, and we'll just all, have a beer together. And if you don't drink beer, then I think if you can get a good deal for it's like 30% off or something. It was some kind of sick deal. I already got my my Fan Expo tickets. But thank you so very much, everyone, for tuning in. We've been reviewing the new comic books that we've read this week. We bought 11 floppies this week. Actually, 13 floppies. I bought those 2 other ones because I think they're going to be key issues. I mean, it's a little skin in the game. Who knows? But thank you so very much. And we will see you again on Wednesday with the new release menu preview day. And what will you be picking up? And please like and subscribe if you haven't liked and subscribed yet. We'd like to earn your subscription. We're a growing channel, and it's been a fun day. I went to the pub, and had a very wet lunch, and ran back home just in time to start the show. So yeah, and I guess because I got tomorrow off for the holiday, I can get tipsy. Ha ha! Cheers! Happy birthday to my bro Wakazashi's Gray and Gray Cope. Happy birthday, brother! And have a good one, everyone out there. And please tune in on Wednesday. Please like and subscribe. Namaste. Good luck. God bless. And we will see you all in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.